The Elite Verdict versus the Mathews title. Which is the bow for you? Almost a moot point today because Elite has just launched their Elite Victra, the new target bow. But let's do a quick comparison and maybe we can learn a little bit about the evolution of Elite bows. So the Mathews title Gen 1, which is what I have here, it's my bow, and I've shot it. It's a wonderful bow. It is a very, very upright riser, and like the TRX was, it has like a shorter kind of past parallel limb this way. They are very, very wide set limbs, as you can see. In fact, there are 8 limbs on this bow because they're separated with that rubber dampener. The Mathews has this elegant kind of struts in between the voids. There's a lot of material removed. It is what I would call a really elegant design. The Elite bow has one of my favorite grips, and it has one of my favorite tuning systems. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Why would somebody choose one bow over another? There's strengths to both of these. For me, I really love just the feel of this bow. It holds really, really well at full draw. Why is that? Maybe it's because the grip is so narrow. I feel like my thumb is pushed down a little bit, but that's totally fine. I'm comfortable with that. And I notice that my bubble's really moving left and right very quickly as I set up for pre-draw. So it's giving me lots of feedback, but at full draw, it is just such a rock solid hold. This is my choice for a 3D bow. I feel like the Mathews title is a little faster bow, and I'm shooting a 23 diameter arrow. Let me get it for you. So my title scales at 64 pounds, and this is my Gold Trail by Red Trail Archery. It's a 23 diameter arrow. It's got just an 80 grain point, and I've cut them pretty short. This arrow tips the scales at 320 grains, which is 5 grains per pound, exactly, for a 64 pound bow. This bow is my go-to for indoor and outdoor target and field archery. This is my arrow of choice for outdoors right now. Also by Red Trail Arrows, this is the X-Trail Micro. And both of these are fletched with Q2I vanes. But back to the bows. Why choose one or the other? Well, this bow does not have any kind of rotating module. So you have to buy the module specific to your draw length, and it has to be specific to the poundage you want and the let-off you want. The advantage to this bow is that you can change the poundage on this bow just by changing the module. It's got a cable stop, and I feel it has a really nice feel. I chose to get a 65 pound module, and I wanted 75% let-off, and my draw length at 29.5 inches. And it does practically that. It's only like 1 pound short. Maybe I could do something with the cables, but I just love how the bow's shooting right now, so I don't want to touch anything. Whereas the Elite Verdict, it has a rotating module in 1/4 inch increments, but that's not the real secret sauce, in my opinion, of this bow. I love that this has a roller guard and this has a roller guard, but this one, I can tune it, I can pull it in and out. The LTR system allows me to either put tension on the cables or get a little more arrow clearance that way, or induce a little more cam lean that way. But the secret sauce is one in this rotating module here, also because I could choose to either install a limb stop, which would hit right here on this hard 90-degree angle attached to the limb, or like, because I like the feel of this cable stop so much, I decided to use the cable stop on this one. And that was no problem either, because I can just adjust my module to hit my draw length how I want, and then the rest of it I do right here on this little track. So the Micro Mods has a screw, and it allows you to move it along a track an infinitely adjustable amount. So you can get the exact feeling you want. You want the exact, I can get the exact let off I want, the exact feel, so I can get lots of feedback, because I like a little lower let off, say 70, 71%. Okay, I know the feeling when I feel it. I like the grip the Elite has, and I loved the set tuning system. So right here is a set screw. I loosen it, and on this side, let me bring the bow around. I can use another screw with a little hex head screw, and I look at the sticker there and it tells me, are you tail left or tail right? And then you just move this, and whatever you do to the bottom or whatever you do to the top, do to the bottom right as well. Loosen it here, adjust it here, and you get a really great paper tuning experience that way without having to put it in the bow press. And that is another key difference between this bow and the Mathews. In order to move the Mathews cams left and right to correct a paper tuning, to correct a paper tear, you have to use the top hat system. The top hat system are a physical set of like spacers that sit inside the place that houses the axle. And so it slides in little tubes, and the spacers are different thicknesses, so you can move your limbs left and right, you can move your cams a little left and a little right, inducing the kind of cam lean you want. And the advantage of that is it's a foolproof system because it doesn't move. Well, the set tuning system has never just moved on me, and it's really easy to use. You don't need to put it in a press. This one, you need to put it in a press to adjust anything. And now, let's talk a little bit about the Victra by Elite. So I'm going to take the Mathews temporarily. Well, actually, I can't take it off the table. I have to leave the Mathews on the table because we got to talk about the Mathews and the new Victra. What's the difference between the Elite Verdict and the new Victra? Well, when I saw the Verdict, I thought, oh, there was a lot more reflex in the riser before, a lot more curve to it. And the Verdict, that's previous versions of the target bow. This one, the Verdict, was a lot straighter, kind of like another bow. And the limbs on the Verdict, compared to the previous gen, were a lot wider set, kind of like another bow. So I started noticing some similarities. Well, the new Victra has even wider set limbs, which is, I think, lends to the stability of the feeling at full draw. That's why I feel like I really hold well with this bow. It really points well, it really aims well. Plus, the Verdict, the Verdict has like this pass parallel kind of limb. The new Victra, the limbs are a little more upright, like a lot of other target bows. Then there's also another new feature. It's got the same rotating module. It's got the same set tuning system. It's got the same micro mods, so you get the exact feel you want at full draw, but there's one more difference. See, this has got this yoke system right here, right? So it's got this yoke system here where the string splits onto one side and the other side of the cam. Well, Elite Verdict doesn't, but the new Victra does. And that's because on the Elite Victra, there's a set screw and a screw here. And what you can do is you can lengthen and shorten this distance slightly, which means if your cams are a little bit out of time, you can, without putting it into a bow press, shorten one or lengthen one cable a small amount to get those cams in time. So if your cams are close, or if you wanted to try advancing the top cam or slowing the top cam down to see how that makes it hold at full draw, because maybe one of those gives you a better holding experience, you can do that again without a bow press. And that may make a difference to a lot of people I know, because a lot of people I know don't have a bow press. And the pro shop I shoot for, Just Shooting Arrows, there was a fire in the building earlier this year. So that shop is closed for now, and I hope it reopens sometime soon. And also, another pro shop, the other pro shop in our kind of greater Vancouver area, it's closing its doors at the end of August. And I'm really sad to hear that too, because that makes me think all those people who are compound bow shooters, what are they going to do for when they need service? So having a bow that you can do more of the tuning of it yourself without the expense of buying a press, that might prove to be a really good idea. So I'm not saying buy a Mathews, and I'm not saying buy an Elite. I'm saying know the strengths of both these bows, and if you can, find a friend who's got one and try it out. It might be just the right bow for you. Anyways, I'm James on the range. This has been just a little bit of consumer information for you, not advice. This is how I do archery, and I invite you to give it a shot.